Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning. I think it's afternoon pretty much everywhere, unless you're watching on the East Coast of the United States. I want to be sure that I'm live. Hi, everybody. It's Nikki Shearerburn, the diva here. I know I've got a lot of new friends, so I will do a little introduction about myself coming up. But welcome to the year 2021, first of all. It's got nothing to do with me. And I do have my little glass of champagne prepared for you. I would not be a diva if I didn't show up with that and to toast you all and say a happy new year to every last one of you. And thank you for being here at the workshop. I know some of you might be in and out today. That's fine too. I'll keep this up so you'll be able to see the replay. But for the best results, if you would like to create your 2021 Diva Pleasure Plan with me today and with anyone else who's on here, I can see Amanda's on here. Hi, Amanda. Do try to stick around. I've booked out 90 minutes for this. It may take less than that. It may only take an hour. I'm going to try and respect your time and make it an hour long if possible, but I do have that extra little bit of time for anybody who needs it. So just bear that in mind. So, salud, as they say here in Spain. Let's start by setting an intention. And I know there are a lot of people out there that are all about having a word for 2021 or setting intentions for 2021 or having goals or whatever that is. The Diva Pleasure Plan is going to give you an alternative to any pressure because let's face it, most of us set goals every year for our lives, for our businesses, for whatever it is, and very often they don't come true. And then what ends up happening is we end up beating ourselves up, getting annoyed at ourselves, just feeling bad because we didn't fulfill our goals or fulfill our dreams. So I want to give you an alternative solution that takes the pressure off, that takes the guns away from your head, that allows you to flow more with life. And God knows we need to flow more with life these days because we just don't know what's going to happen, what's around the corner. So the way that we make our plan for 2021, for your business, for your life, is really more about you trusting yourself, you connecting to the divine diva in you that connects us all together. And it's really about just feeling that, you can do anything, create anything, and feel okay, even if you don't feel okay, but be okay, even if you don't feel okay, regardless of what your external circumstances are. Because I know that last year, more than any other year, 2020 was the year, wasn't it? It was the catastrophic year for most people. So we're putting that behind us now. And the reason I'm doing this workshop today, on the first day of this year, is because for me, this is a real energetic day to really go forward with something new. So I'm going to be 44 this year. It's going to be my birthday on the 19th of January in 18 days from now. And every single year, apart from maybe the last few years, the last 4 years or so, I set intentions for New Year. I made plans. I made plans for other people. I had my marketing company and I used to make marketing plans for other people. And it's very, very rare that they ever became fulfilled. The good thing about having goals and intentions and plans is that it gets us moving forward in the right direction. So I'm not saying don't have them. Have the big picture, have the overall goal, whatever that might be, whatever you desire. And it's different for everybody. But let's come back to this present moment, day by day. It's the day by day life, I've realized over the years, that's more important than the big picture. It's more important that you get up every day and you feel good, that you like where you live, that you enjoy the people that you're around, that you can breathe the air that you're living in. And I know that many of you are on lockdown and in quarantines and everything at the moment, but even in those circumstances, that you can do the best with what you have, that you can enjoy what you have. In your business, so for those of you in business, you are going to enjoy working with the clients that you're with, the work that you do in your business, you enjoy doing it. So I think really what the Diva Pleasure Plan is about for you all is showing you a different way that you can be more present in your life. And being present, the way that I choose to help people to be present is through pleasure. hence why I have a glass of champagne here. Um, as I'm a diva, I'm a born diva. So, and Gons will vouch for that because he was in a band with me. What were we called, Gons? I can't remember. Tricks, was that what we were called? Tricks with three X's, I think. So, and there was three of us. So, doing things in a way that's more slow, that's more connected to the present moment, which really then connects us to the vibration of love or connects us to source energy or whatever you want to call that. And look at that lovely light coming in here. Beautiful. So, whatever you want to call it, some of you might be religious or spiritual, some of you might believe in God. It doesn't matter what you want to call it, but if you believe that we are all connected by one thing, by one life force, then being present through pleasure, because pleasure is the way that I like to do things, but it doesn't have to be that. If you don't like that, that's fine. You can go somewhere else today. Enjoy your time with your family. This is the way I do things. So if this interests you, stick around. And I'm going to show you how to create a plan for 2021, which is not really a plan at all. It's just a different way of doing things. So I'm going to have another little drop of this, and I'm not going to forget to drink it because number one, I'm Irish, of course, and number two, I'm a diva, and number three, it is New Year's Day, so why not? So I hope you're all joining me with a little drink today. So we're going to take our time with this. Now, I do want to share something personal with you all right now, and that is that I won't get into too much about my life because I don't want to be here talking all about that, and I've done that before in webinars, but a very, very important part of today's talk and today's workshop is that no matter what your external circumstances, you can actually create and you can have a good life and you can feel good most of the time. You can have well-being, right? Now, well-being doesn't mean you're happy all the time. That's not the goal here. The goal is not to be happy all the time. The goal is simply to have well-being. And to have well-being means that no matter what's thrown your way, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a health crisis, whether it's loved ones passing, whether it's the money in your bank account, whether it's your relationships, whatever's going on externally, you're able to actually handle it in a very fast way. And so today is really the depth of the work that I'm going to do today. So even if you're not a business owner, the depth of the work that I'm going to do today is really here to help you to see that there is a way that you can feel okay regardless of what's going on. So to share a personal thing with you today, I found out yesterday that my father is very ill. He has Alzheimer's, which is at stage 6. Stage 7 is kind of the max. And he has been in a home which is supposed to be for independent living, but because of COVID and all of the restrictions in Ireland, he has been kept in a place where he's progressed in his illness, but he has not really been, he's had the care because they're wonderful people, but he's not really in the right place. So unfortunately, because normally my sister goes and helps him every day, because of all of the situation with COVID, and I live away, I live here in Fuerteventura in Canary Islands, my brother lives in Portugal, he had been left in the home and his physical health deteriorated. So he's now in hospital. Unfortunately, the person next to him in the bed has COVID. He's been diagnosed with a tumour. He can't even have treatment yet until he gets a negative test, and there's all of that going on. Now, I don't know if any of you here have ever lost a parent or have ever had a parent that's at the end of their life. My father's my best friend in the whole world. He's 80 now. He turned 80 in 2020. And it has been a devastating shock for me. And I have spent the entire last 24 hours crying. So I really, really wanted to show up here today. I literally stood in front of the bathroom mirror and put some makeup on so I could show up here today to give this message to you, because I want to show you more than anything how no matter what's going on, no matter how devastated you are, even if your best friend and your father is dying, that you can still create and you can still share love and you can still share your message and you can still share or do whatever it is that you want to do. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, okay? I wouldn't have been able to do this a year ago, definitely not 2 years ago. There is no way. I would have stayed in bed crying, I would have stayed in my pajamas, I probably would have been there for a month. So there's a bounce back time. So by well-being, what I really mean is having well-being. What I've seen over and over again is that my mental health, when I feel bad about something, when something affects me, I bounce back And I think literally within a day is the maximum amount it takes me. I could have one off day and I will be fine the next day. And the reason for that is because I know that there is something bigger out there. I know that there is a life force out there that we're all connected to that supports us. Life supports us in everything that we need to create. We are part of the big picture. We are part of creation. And so I've brought that into the work that I do. So this workshop today is specifically designed for anybody who is a coach, a healer, a transformation expert, if you're a light worker, if you're any kind of person who's helping people. And I know that there are a lot of people, especially that are starting out in this business right now, or in this industry right now, that maybe find it all very overwhelming, or even if you've been in this industry a while, you might be going online now because of the pandemic. So therefore, you have had to change how you're doing things. And I know because I'm 14 years in the coaching industry, and I'm 7 years completely online and doing a lot of marketing, not just for my own business, but helping other coaches, other entrepreneurs, other healers, yoga teachers, etc., to market their own businesses online. And I have seen a significant change in the last year, or less than a year, since the pandemic hit in March. It's almost a year now, right? Gosh, it's flown by. So I've seen a huge difference. I've seen how busy it has become online. I have personally witnessed coaches start businesses, or even just take their business from brick and mortar and bring it online, and completely just melt down from the overwhelm that they are experiencing in the online space. It is treacherous, folks. I get it. It is noisy as hell, and it's all very confusing because you don't know what to do, you don't know what to share, you don't know how often to share it. And you know, when you start to not get people commenting on your posts, or you don't get enough people following you, or you're not getting people showing up to your workshops, or whatever content you're producing, it can feel very, very disheartening. So really what I'm here to do for you today is, instead of a business plan, instead of a marketing plan, we're going to ditch those things. I made hundreds of those for people, for entrepreneurs, over the years, and I innocently thought they were the thing that would help them, but honestly 99% of them would come back to me either for me to help them, to mentor them through their marketing and help them to learn how to market themselves in an effective way online, or they would just put those marketing plans into a drawer somewhere, never to be seen again. And there's a reason for that, because it is overwhelming. It was already overwhelming before, but now it's even more overwhelming with the amount of people on there. So my hope for you all today is to help you to see that there's another way, and to give you some tools to help you with that too. So you will go away with the crux of what you need to create your own plan for 2021. And I'm calling it a Diva Pleasure Plan, because you get to be the diva of your life, the diva of your business, and you get to focus on pleasure. Now, who doesn't want that in 2021, right? So give me a little message in here if you want more pleasure in your life this year. And what I mean by pleasure, because I know I probably have some nice, pictures of my lingerie and stuff like that you've been seeing over my my profile lately, and in my group as well. And I've had a few comments from people asking me, what am I doing? And so for those of you who don't know, what I mean by pleasure is anything that lights you up or turns you on. It doesn't matter what it is. And it can also depend on your circumstances and your energy levels as well, and it can change. So we're going to get deeper into that later on. So let me just give you a little run through, okay, on who should be here today, just to make sure that you're in the right place, and what you're going to learn from today's workshop as well. I do have some notes, so I'm going to be reading those. So if my eyes are wandering around, that's what I'm doing, but I want to make sure that I give you all of this juicy content today. So you're definitely in the right place if you are a coach or a healer or a transformation expert. If you've been in your business at least a year or two, and you've been very, very busy, especially recently, and if you're spending more than 20, 30, 40, 50, up to 80% of your time on marketing and sales and tech and all that kind of stuff versus actually helping your clients, coaching, then this is the right place for you. It's also for you if you're making enough or even more than enough money from your business, but you have no time or energy left for the rest of your life. As in, not the rest of your life, but the rest of your life, like your relationships, your children, travel, or anything else that you're interested in, your interests. You're in the right place if you spend a lot of time on your marketing and your sales, that you don't even enjoy, by the way, and it's barely worth it for the amount of clients who enroll. And if you are maxed out with your current client load, you might be that busy that you've got like enough clients, but you've, and you're making lots of money and everything, but you have no idea how to, or you've no time to figure out how to restructure your business model to allow for taking on more clients, making more money, and having more time to spend on other areas of your life. You're also in the right place if you are open or curious about how doing less marketing and sales will bring you more success. And if you feel as though your light has gone out and you feel older with no fun or joy in your life. Now, I think that's a huge one. I know when I sat in front of my computer for many years, as I said, I'm 14 years in this industry, and I remember sitting in front of my computer probably 7 years ago, and I was in front of that computer 50 hours a week, and I had no fun in my life. I felt ancient. I feel about 20 years younger now than I did 7 years ago. And I think I look it too, to be honest with you. 44 in a few days. I'm feeling good. So my light had definitely gone out. I just didn't feel like I had any light. So drop a comment here, whether you're watching the replay or not. I'd love if you can interact with me if you're watching here, because obviously if you're interacting with me, it's going to help. So if you're feeling like your light has gone out, please let me know here in the comments. We're here to help today. Get my notes up again because I want to have my comments up at the same time. Right. Also, the other thing that happened to me, and if this has happened to you, my relationships, my health, and my well-being were seriously suffering. So if your relationships, your health, and your well-being have been suffering because you've been spending so much time, and maybe it's not even physical time, it could just even be mental space on your business, you're definitely in the right place. If you feel like quitting your business, but you started it because you want to help people, but it takes so much effort, right? So, many of the people that I help are following their purpose. They're doing their soul work. I know I am. This is exactly what this is to me, and this is why I'm here today. And so if you feel like quitting that, but it's hard to quit, right? Because it's like you're following that purpose and you're feeling this is my soul work, and it takes so much effort, and you're in front of your computer all day and you're trying to figure out how to get yourself in front of people, but then you can't quit because it's your passion and it's your purpose and you're supposed to do this, and it's very frustrating, and I get that. So if you're feeling like that, you're definitely in the right place. So folks, as long as you've established that you're in the right place and you're watching the replay or you're here live today, let me tell you what we're actually going to be covering in today's workshop. So you're going to, by the end of this workshop even, discover a practical way to create some mental bandwidth by decluttering your current marketing strategies, your sales funnels, and your business model. And you are going to replace that space with pleasure. Isn't that fun? Right, speaking of pleasure, let's have a little swig. I promise I won't get drunk. I've tried to promise anyway. As I say, I am a diva. We'll get into that a little bit more if you haven't heard from me before. Again, Gons will vouch for me if you're still there, Gons. Gin and tonics, Gons. That was the one we did, right? That was what we had. Gons is a diva too, mind you. He's a divo. So you'll also see that perfect websites, copy, and high tech is not what brings you clients. If that sounds like a shock to you right now, I'm glad. Good. I want it to be a shock because I want you to hear this, and I'm going to repeat it again. Perfect websites, copy, high tech, all of the things like 3 posts a day, funnels, email, automated email sequences, looking perfect, showing up beautifully, and having all of the lighting right and everything. All of that stuff, none of that is the thing that makes you get clients. All right, that is not what brings you clients. But what will bring you clients, and what does bring you clients, and I mean perfect clients. I'm not talking about the kind of clients that are going to be a pain in the butt to work with, because we've all had those, the ones that we've had 2-hour-long sales conversations with, and we've dealt with all the all of the different problems that they're having around not wanting to join you, and we've done all of our sales, and we've dealt with everything, and then finally they work with us, but it's very sort of, we pull them in, and then they end up not being great clients, right? So what we want is for you to show up like a diva with your beautiful, divinely inspired ideas, your vibe. People will love that and people will connect with that. And that is actually what connects people to you. It's not the perfect copy, believe me. And we waste so much time on all of that stuff. So I want to help you to see that today. Amanda said, working with you has made me excited about my business again. Wonderful. And Amanda's client of mine. So yes, likewise, Amanda's been an amazing client, I have to say. She's been so amazing to work with. So all of my clients are, in fact. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. So another thing you're going to learn by the end of this is that focusing more on your pleasures over marketing and sales and tech, and I'm putting a little bit of those three things together, will connect you to the divine. I call it the divine because diva and divine, right? Get the little play on words there, right? That's going to be the best thing for your well-being. So when you connect to the divine life force, or the diva life force as I call it, it is actually the best thing for your well-being and your inspiration. And more than anything, it's going to teach you to trust yourself. Oh my gosh, please divas, please coaches, healers, yoga teachers, transformation experts, please try. If you're going to make any intention today for this year, it's to trust yourself over anyone, even me. No one can tell you, follow this system or do this marketing plan or follow this way. If you feel drawn to it, great. I mean, this is a way of doing things. This is principles of doing things that I share today. And if it feels good for you and you enjoy it and you think you like the idea of being more in pleasure and doing less marketing, then by all means follow me. And if not, then don't. But trust yourself more than anything. Hi Marianne, it's lovely to see you here. Marianne said, oh my goodness, I've been trying to find you. I finally found you. Yes, do you know what, Marianne? There was a little button earlier on to say that I did a test to say that I could share into my group. And now it's disappeared. And honestly, tech is not my amazing thing, but I will share it into the group afterwards as a replay. That's all I can do. And my whole thing is show up messy AF with your divinely inspired ideas, because honestly, look, you found me in the end. There we go. Marianne's here. Okay. And I really do believe that the right message will land on the right ears at the right time. It's like reading a book. When you read a book over and over again, you might have read one book, I don't know about you, but I've read that Eat, Pray, Love book about 4 times. And every time I read it, it sent a different message to me, right? Do you understand? So like what I'm doing here with being visible, and what I encourage you all to do is, be in your lives, live your lives. I know that sitting in front of a computer every single day, hours and hours and hours of the day, does not turn me on, does not do it for me. In fact, if I didn't have to have an online business, I wouldn't. But I do, because I live on an island and there's also a pandemic right now. But even before that, I chose to live on an island where I can't really get clients here, So I always knew it had to be an international online business. So I would not choose to be online all the time. And anyone that follows me, they don't particularly love being online in front of their computer. So if you don't love doing it, do other things instead. So we're going to start by decluttering everything for you today anyway. And then you'll see that you can just show up in whichever way you want to, because you don't have to do all of that stuff. It's the times where I share from the heart. I'll have some mad random idea when I'm in the beach and I'll get out of the sea and I'll get on live and go blah 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 blah, or I'll write a quick post while my daughter's asleep or something like that, and then I'll just forget about it and walk away. I mean, honestly, I spent years writing posts, having everything perfect, thinking it all had to be perfect funnels and perfect technology and everything. And I would spend my life waking up in the middle of the night and checking to see how many people liked my Facebook post and how many people got back to me. And honestly, I think probably the thing that changed it for me more than anything was having a child. But apart from that, you don't have to have a child for it to change. I just got to the point where I just didn't want to be doing it anymore. I just wasn't interested, and I started to see the connection. I started to realize that actually, no matter how much I checked, it didn't make any difference. The clients that needed to hear the message at the right time, or the person that needed to hear the message at the right time, would hear it. And I've gotten to the point now in my business where I'm not even sure I want to call it a business anymore. It is a business. It does bring me money, but that's not like my whole reason for doing this. I and this is my biggest intention for 2021. I feel that this message, it may even be that I might extend this message out to everyone, not just to people who are in business, not just to entrepreneurs. I don't know, but right now that's who my audience is. But I really feel that this message about having well-being, no matter what's going on in the world, and extend that out to that your business will actually do well because your well-being is good, not because you've showed up 10 times on Facebook this week or today or whatever, or you've posted across all of the different platforms. But having well-being despite your external circumstances, and again, I want to stress that does not mean being happy all the time, but it does mean being able to handle things better so that your bounce back time to being happy is quicker, right? I feel that that message is so strong, and I want to share it with so many people that I've gotten to the point now where I have dedicated 2 days a week only to coaching clients. I have a strong message that's very clear that I've worked on. Remember, I'm in this industry 14 years, so it's taken me a long time to get to where I am. And I have systems in place because I've been in marketing. I've had marketing agencies. I understand marketing in this industry so well. I know so much about it. So I have great systems that I've tried and tested and that work. And I have an amazing team that is really just one person with maybe two people that run the show for me. And so I'm down to just coaching and showing up when I feel like it. Messy AF, even when my father is dying, and even when I've been crying for the last 24 hours. I did think about not putting on any trousers, but I did because I found these and I thought they were really cute, so I do actually have trousers on. But I obviously wasn't going to put any trousers on today. So having your divinely inspired ideas, and it doesn't mean that you need to have loads and loads of new ideas all the time. The reason why I'm able to get somebody to outsource my social media for me and post on my behalf is because my message is so honed in and dialed in to my offers that I basically have a content bank that my assistant can just take and dissect and turn into posts, and I've enough there just from the last year. This business is only 13 months old, this version of my business, with this message and this brand, my Diva brand. So honestly, the whole thing for me now is that I would rather get this message out to people, as many people as possible, with no intention of actually getting clients or making money, because I know that I can make money in other ways. I know that money will come through from different sources. It does not have to be from this. And that takes a huge gun away from my head, because it doesn't feel anymore like I'm here with an agenda, I'm here to sell, I'm here to get clients. That's not the point of this. I showed up today even though my father is dying, even though I've been devastated, because this message is so important to me. Now, I want to show you something really funny right now that's happening here, because I've got 2 children outside. They're not my children. I got rid of my child for the day so I can do this. And there are neighbours outside making faces at my door. I won't put them on because I don't want to put them on the internet, Are they gone? But I might have to get up and tell them to go away in a second. But that's why I'm laughing, because they're up against my door making faces like this. So definitely want to show you that this can be, you can run your business in a way that just feels very authentic, that just feels like just you being you. You don't need to have everything perfect. You don't need to have everything that you're showing up a certain amount of time. And I also want you to see that, we can take a lot of guns away from our heads that we put there ourselves. Remember that this is your business. So when you decide that you have to have makeup on every time you go on a live, or when you decide that you have to have, I don't know, like a certain number of likes on a post before it seems successful, or when you decide that you have to earn a certain amount of money, because even that, I have seen this phenomenon lately, which is bigger, it's worse than the virus, and that's that 6-figure business thing. Like whoever put that out there, because if I hear anyone else turn around to me again when I first meet them and say, oh, I want to earn six figures, I want to earn 100K. And then I was in groups with million dollar clubs as well. I fell for this stuff too, by the way. And for those of you who've been following me for a long time, you've also seen that I've promoted that as well. Until I learned recently, through trusting myself, that I don't need 100K a year. Okay. I'm very proud to say I don't. I could live happily on 50K a year. And as a matter of fact, I probably will do that this year, because I've had two huge tax bills the last few years when I earned multiple six figures. And did it change my life significantly? Not really. And I do already have everything that I want. So I'm very, very happy in my life. So my goal for this year is just to stay happy and enjoy my life. And then if I was to earn extra money, which still 50K to me even gives me extra money, so there's nothing I can really spend it on, because I can't travel, and that was one of my pleasures that I like to do. So all of my pleasures are free. And in all honesty, if I want to buy something extra, or if I want to spend money on anything extra, I do it because it's just something I enjoy, as opposed to I really need something, you know. So I want everyone to see that even setting your goals, even for how much you want to earn, those are things to really trust yourself around, and not just listen to what the hype is out there about it needs to be, you know, six figures or 5K months or 10K months or anything like that. And in all honesty, 14 years in this industry, if you want to have consistent 10K months, get a job. I don't mean to sound like a smart aleck, but consistency in any industry, not just the coaching industry, is kind of like a bit of a pipe dream, because in honesty, like, you can have consistency, but it takes consistent energy to put out as well. Now, eventually you might have systems in place, but in all honesty, I have worked in these companies, I have been partners in these companies, I've got colleagues that work in this industry that have got consistent months, but they're waking up at 4 a.m. They don't tell you these things, right? And do they have well-being? It looks like it. We all look great on the internet, right? But I'm being really, really truthful and honest with you here. I want you to see that, you know, it's not about being perfect all the time. It's not about that everything's rosy all the time. It's not about being happy all the time. I have shown up in my night dress last week, drinking a cup of coffee. I'm eating my breakfast. I have shown up with my dirty dishes behind me. I've shown up with my daughter behind me. I look reasonably okay today. So, you know, I managed to get a bit of lipstick on and put a necklace on, which is good for me. So, but that's okay. That's just because I felt I wanted to do that. So there's no pressure on us to do anything, because honestly, if we trust ourselves, it's not about following the pack. It's not about looking at what everybody else is doing and saying, if I do that, they have success. Number one, we don't even know if they have success. Number two, we don't know what success is to them. So just defining success to you is the first step. Okay, so let's start, okay? So that was a big intro. We got a lot of nuggets in there as well, but there's more to do. So I am going to look for some feedback here as much as possible. So we're going to start, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start by looking at your current business model and your marketing efforts and your sales processes and your goals. I'm going to actually add that in there because we're going to look at those too. Those are important. And we're going to look at seeing what no longer serves you, and what you can do to immediately create space, both mentally and physically. Then after we've done this process, and this might be something you'll need to go away and do on your own as well, so I'm just going to plant the seeds for you here today, but you might get some insights today as well. It's really just about feeling into it. So if you're distracted by anything, if you're following along with this, even if it's in the replay, I encourage you to just shut off any other distractions and follow this, because more than anything, this is not about me saying follow these steps and this is going to be how you're going to create 100K, okay? Because that's what we're not doing anymore, right? This is a Diva Pleasure Plan. This is not about following these numbers and working our butts off, okay? So I'd like you to really just connect and look for a feeling. Just see what comes to you. And it might come now or it might come later. That doesn't matter. It might not come at all either. That's okay too. So don't worry if somebody else is saying, oh, I'm getting all these insights, and then you're not getting any insights at all. That's okay too. We're all at different places. So once we've done that part, I'll get into that first, then we're going to dig a little deeper and discover what brings you pleasure in life. And those could be things that you've done before, they could be things you're currently doing, or they could be things that are new that you'd like to do. And I know that especially if you're a person who is very, very busy all the time, whether it's mentally busy or physically busy or a mixture of both, you may have forgotten what brings you pleasure in life. I know, I really remember this so well. A point in my life where I was focused so much on work. I was physically working in front of the computer 50 hours a week. This was in the coaching industry, okay, and the marketing industry, online marketing. And I was mentally caught up with it. I kept thinking about it all the time, and I couldn't even switch it off. I had no control over it all. It was just like a constant buzz in the background, and I was completely disconnected. And this is from a person who was deeply spiritual and had a big spiritual awakening in 2007, and had already experienced what it felt like to be very connected with life force. I even lived on a tropical island in Thailand, and I walked barefoot for 2 years, and it was all of that. So it was coming from that kind of person, and I went completely backwards. I got stuck in the matrix, again. And so I know that when I felt like that, I did not I did not know what my pleasures were. I remember the first time that a coach of mine helped me to create some space, and it was just mental bandwidth, really. And that, as a result of that, that kind of gave me some more physical space in my business, and I kind of shrunk everything down a little bit. And I didn't know what to do with myself. So that can happen too. That sometimes when you create space, it can feel very uncomfortable, that you don't know what to do with your time. And I remember my coach saying, well, call up a friend and go for a coffee. Well, number one, I didn't know who to call because it was so long since I'd seen a friend. And number two, I just didn't even, I don't know, I couldn't even see what going for a coffee would do for me. It just didn't seem appealing to me. It was so difficult for me to remember honestly what pleasure was like. And and then you can get into other pleasures too. I mean, for some of my clients and for me as well, it can get into physical pleasure, it can get into sexual pleasure, it can be as far as that, and you can go with whatever you want here. I mean, there's no limits, there's no right or wrong as to what gives you pleasure in life. It can be things like dancing, it can be things like walking, it can be things like watching Netflix. And again, I want to stress that it really depends on your circumstances because they can change, and also on uh, your energy levels, because if you've been very busy, especially in your head, you will probably find that you're very tired. And so again, I remember saying that, to my coach, I really wanted to do lots of yoga, and there was a yoga studio right across my house. I could see it from my house, and I also wanted to go walking. And do you think I could just get the energy to just get on my 2 feet and walk out the door and go to the yoga studio? I couldn't do it. And she kept saying to me, don't worry, it'll happen on its own. And I couldn't understand what she meant by that. And it did happen on its own one day. And as a matter of fact, I didn't end up doing yoga. I did end up going walking, but it wasn't actually the yoga or the walking that I needed. It was just the mental space. And so again, I just want you to see that anything that gives you pleasure, we're going to look at what does that do for you? What are those things that give you pleasure actually do for you? Because those things can change. So for me, my biggest passion and pleasure in life is to help people to raise their consciousness. And I do that first of all through raising my own consciousness level, and then I share from that place with others. That is my biggest pleasure in life and my biggest passion in life. And how I do that changes all the time. So for those of you who don't know me, who are new, I am a real life diva. I really mean it. I wasn't just born a diva. I really was born a diva. But I actually did become a singer at a very young age, and I've been touring all around the world, and I've been a professional singer all my life. And at one point I was doing tour work and what they call depth work, I'm trying to think of the word, session work, for about 15 different bands and artists right before I came to live here on this island. And then I came here to live in the island, and I was working here as a singer. And then I had my beautiful daughter Stella, who's now 3.5 years old. So I haven't been doing so much of that in recent years. So I want you to see then that one way that I was helping people to raise their vibration was through singing, because for me singing was a very spiritual experience. It still is. It helps me really connect to this present moment. So when you feel present, that's when you are connected to the divine. Okay, that's when you're in your diva energy, what I call your diva creative energy, or the divine, or God, or source, or whatever you want to call it, life force. And when we're in that, that's when we feel good. That's where our well-being comes from, right? So that was one way that I could do that. And then through being on stage or recording music and sharing it with people, I was able to then send that energy out to other people. And as you all know, as many of you will know anyway, music is a great way to really light people up and really get them connected together and really get them present. So that was one way I was able to bring people and raise their consciousness. Roll on forward, I have a baby, and I'm also a coach, and I can do it in this way. But I was strictly a marketing coach up until last year, and then I got really into this work, which is my soul purpose work, my soul work. And this is where it's all about. For me, it starts with well-being, and then if you want to know about the marketing, that's great, I'll teach you that too. But really what's important here is this well-being part. For most of the people I work with, they kind of know enough about marketing. They've already got tons of marketing. They don't need any more. So I'll help you to discover today, what are your passions and where are they coming from, and what's at the depth of those passions, so you can really see, or your pleasures, you can call them your pleasures too, so we can really see, how they can change in your life. And then you'll go away today with your very simple pleasure plan for 2021. And that's not going to overwhelm you, but instead it's going to bring back your light. Now, you may not have all of those answers today, but again, I just want to stress that you'll be able to listen to the replay of today. You'll be able to take away the tools that I'm giving you today, and you'll be able to implement them, or just let them process, and then have a little step, just a few little steps, just even the very first step, to take you forward in 2021 in a completely different way than what you've been doing up to now, because we're done with the busyness. We're done with the marketing plans and the business plans and the 3-step formulas and the 7-step God knows what, you know what I'm talking about, right? And also those things, especially because most of the people I work with are women as well, those things are very masculine. Business can be very masculine and linear, and it kind of doesn't really allow for flow, and especially as women, but also men too, because men and women both have the feminine, the divine feminine and the divine masculine in them, okay? So we want to bring more of the feminine into business, and if you're a woman, really do business in a feminine way. And that's again what I mean about showing up messy AF. Don't be afraid to say blah blah blah. Don't be afraid to show up if your hair is not done. Don't be afraid to show up if you don't have every little point that you were going to say in your webinar. Don't be afraid to post something that's not edited, or maybe even has some mistakes in it, spelling mistakes or whatever. Share it, because if it's a divinely inspired idea, if you are genuinely spending your time doing what you love and what brings you pleasure most of the time, and that includes your work, because showing up like this for you today, being on a webinar or a workshop or a Facebook live stream like this, is something that lights me up so much. It's such a big pleasure. And I knew I could do this today, even when I was lying down 10 minutes beforehand with tears coming down to my eyes. I knew I could do it because the energy shifts. This makes me completely present. This connects me to the divine and connects me to all of you and allows me to bring that out to all of you. And because I'm doing it all the time, I know that I can do it. So in the same way with your pleasures, your business, what you're doing in your business also needs to be a pleasure. So that's why you're going to look at, you can maybe outsource stuff to, people to do that you don't enjoy. Okay. So let's get into the exact details here. So this part actually this is actually going to be the simplest part and the shortest part of the webinar, believe it or not, of the workshop. So there's not a lot of work. And this is, again, I wanted to stress this to you because people think we need to work really hard and hustle really hard and do loads of stuff to get clients. And I want you to see that even the delivery of this, even what you need to do, is so simple. It's so simple and so easy. So if you're ready, just let me know that you're still there and type in ready or something like that into the box. And if you're watching the replay, type it in too. We'll get going. So it's a bit of a self-inquiry here. Great, Marianne, thank you. Bit of a self-inquiry here. And again, there's no right or wrong answers. I'm not even going to really ask direct questions. I'm going to ask some questions just to kind of probe your brain a little bit and plant some seeds, just so you can see things from a different perspective. So if you do have a pen and paper or somewhere to write something down, Go and get it now if you need it, or type something into your computer or whatever. Try to write it down somewhere if you can. See what's coming to you. And if it feels like maybe you need more time, remember that's okay. This is not about, this isn't a quiz or a test. This is you trusting yourself and tapping into your own wisdom. This is what this is about, okay? And I'm just the person that has a different vantage point because I've been through this. Not only have I been in this industry 14 years, not only have I got all of this marketing stuff that I've done for myself and done for countless other entrepreneurs, but I've also been living and breathing in this way for the last number of years. So I want to be able to show you what I can see from where I am that you may not be seeing right now, and just help you to tap into what you can see yourself, that your own wisdom can share with you, okay? So let's look at, first of all, your current goals, okay, or just your goals in general. I just want you to have a think about these goals. Are they really your goals? Look at what it is that lights you up. Do you really love money? Okay, this might be a weird question to ask you, okay? But many of us go into our coaching business or our healing business or our transformation business or our yoga business or whatever business you're in, and we set a goal, and it's very often I want to make, and I choose whatever number you want, but the numbers I see over and over again are 100k, 250k, or $1 million. Those are the goals I see more than anything, okay? So think about that for a moment. Where is that coming from? And I don't want you to actually dive into where it's coming from. And here's the reason why. A lot of our time is spent in our heads thinking about stuff, right? So I'm just planting seeds here for you. But if you actually try to dive into, well, where is it coming from? And, I wonder why that happened. What we're actually just doing is adding more thinking on top of thinking. And we're actually getting more and more disconnected from what's actually going on. And being present, okay? So we're not really being present. So I'm just wanting you just to touch on it, just to help you get the insight, as opposed to, give yourself therapy about it. You don't need to, go into the depths of it, all right? So are those goals really yours? Now, you might not have all the answers today, okay? But I do want you to know that I am here to help further if anybody does need help further, okay? So don't be afraid to reach out to me if you need further help on this. You can always PM me. That is definitely an option if you need more help around this. So just PM me if you need more help on this. So there's no right or wrong answer. Just see what comes to you. And if you want to share here in the comments, if something's coming to you, please feel free to share. You don't have to, but if you want to and you feel inspired to, it might help others, then please do share. I'm happy for that. So that's the first thing, your goals. Now I want you to also see, how do you measure your metrics of success? Oh, that's a hard thing to say. How do you measure your metrics of success? What are your metrics? How do you measure your success? Most people, again, tend to measure their success financially. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're in a business, of course, you want to make sure you make money, right? And especially if you're investing or anything like that, you want to make sure that you're making a return on investment, all of that kind of stuff. So there is nothing wrong with that. Don't let me put you off that. That's fine. But are there other things that you can measure your success through, other metrics? So I'll give you some examples. And again, it's just to plant some seeds. One of them, for me anyway, my biggest one is well-being. Now, I'll tell you why my biggest one is well-being. My biggest one is well-being because I can see I have had multiple six-figure businesses. I almost bought a $500,000 a year business that I was partnered in, which I didn't buy in the end. I was making $30,000 a month at one point. And my association with making money is a lot of money. It's very hard work. And I actually wanted to make that money at the time only because my understanding from being in the coaching industry for so long was that that was what you should do. that meant success. Make 100K a year or more, right? Make six figures. Buy a house with a swimming pool and all of those kind of things, right? Have 2 cars, whatever it was, okay? But I didn't even have time to spend the money, to be honest with you. But my well-being at that time was the worst it ever had been. As I said before, I was disconnected. I felt like I'd lost touch with God. I remember looking at the ocean and I could see the ocean in front of me, and where there was a time where I felt at one with the ocean, and I live right beside the ocean, I still do. I felt as though the ocean was this completely separate thing to me. I knew, because I'd experienced it before, that I was connected to everything in life, but I couldn't access it. And I knew it wasn't gone, because I know it doesn't go anywhere, but that's exactly how I felt. Marianne, thank you for sharing. She says, mine is how alive I feel. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So hold on to that, because it's so, so, so important. And you'll know what your big one is, because when you feel that, that's the thing that's going to, it's like my connection to source and my well-being. I know that when I have that well-being, that's why I was able to show up today, even though I was crying, because I know I have well-being. Oh yes, I was upset by my father being on his deathbed, and there's nothing I can do about it, and he's alone, and I can't go to Ireland because they're on lockdown, and I'm not going to get to say goodbye to him, and I'm not going to get to be at his funeral or any of those things. But I know that I have well-being. And so when you know that something is the thing that is your biggest metric of success, you know that everything else comes from there. So I know that well-being allows me to show up. I know that well-being allows me to be consistent in my marketing and to be clear in my messaging and to have clarity and to just be authentic and be me and to come and deliver this message to you all and really share from the heart. I couldn't do that if I didn't have my well-being, right? And also I know then that when I do that, I notice that when I'm at my best and when my well-being is at its best, that's when I do actually get better ideas. I get amazing ideas. I get these divinely inspired ideas, and that's where I share a lot. And instead of sitting in front of our computer thinking, I want to make 100K, I want to make 100K, I'm going to sit in front of the computer, I'm going to force myself to write something. You know, and you might make this perfect piece of copy and no one is interested. And another day you're sitting on the loo. Who has had these toilet inspirations, right? Because what are we doing on the toilet? We're present really, right? We're doing nothing. So, you know, another day you're sitting on the loo and you get an idea and you write some random thing into your phone real fast, and suddenly your DM or your PM box is going ping, 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 and everyone wants to talk to you, right? There's no coincidence there. Marianne says she's leaving the coaching industry, that it's too masculine. Mine is being a muse. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I mean, you never know, because there is a masculine side to the coaching industry, absolutely for sure. But I am one of the pioneers in helping to turn that around. So you never know, Marianne. You could be open to it, but I honour and respect whatever it is that you are deciding to do, and I wish you well in whatever it is. And I don't know if you have something else that you want to take up right now, and if you want to share that with us, that would be lovely too. So yes, so just being being aware of what your metrics of success are. Impact is another thing. Impact for me is huge, because my metrics of success is how many people can I reach. It's not how many people can I sell to, how many people are going to pay for my services. In all honesty, I now see 4 or 5 one-on-one clients. That is it. That's my business model. 4 or 5 one-on-one clients. Marianne has been in the coaching industry for 25 years. Well, I can understand, Marianne, why you might want to change at this stage. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm 14 years in it, and I was on the brink of leaving it myself not long ago, so I get it. So, yes, I forgot what I was saying there. Can somebody prompt me? That's what happens to me when I'm looking at notes and when I'm looking at messages coming through. I'm sure it'll come back to me, not to worry. So the second thing then that we're going to look at is, I was looking at goals. Impact, yes. So the impact of what I'm having. It's not about how many people I can sell to. I've got room for 4 people that I see. I have 2 clients. So I've got room for 2 more clients, 3 at a push, and it's all one-on-one work, and that's it. I don't offer group courses anymore. I'm not interested in scaling my business anymore. I used to do all of those things because I thought that that's what we had to do, because that's what we're trained to do, right? No problem, Marianne. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Um, I thought that's what I had to do. I think everyone thinks that that's what they have to do. They have to follow the route of everyone else. Scale your business, because we're being told over and over and over and again. If you're maxed out with clients, or if you're serving one-on-one, you've got to scale your business. You know what? You might not need to scale your business. Restructuring your business is a completely different thing. Okay, because restructuring your business could actually mean scaling down, which is what I've done recently. So it's sort of a way to scale. It's sort of a way to make space so that you can see more people, or you can choose instead, if you want to, you can see more people, or you can choose to spend more time on pleasure. Okay, so these are the different options here that I'm showing you are possible today. It's just a different take from what the mainstream coaching industry is teaching us out there, and the marketing that's going on out there. Just checking to see if anyone's still there. Okay, so who's still there? Is it Amanda? Amanda, are you there? Let me know who's there. I'd love to know. And who's looking at the replay. If you're watching the replay, please say hi again. I'm feeling so much better. Oh my gosh. It's not the wine, I've hardly drank any of it. We're going to do another Happy New Year's cheers to everybody, because it wouldn't be any kind of diva at all if I didn't do that. And I'm taking my time here, folks. So I did allocate 90 minutes. I definitely think we're going to use those 90 minutes now. Okay. So those are three metrics that I like to use: well-being, impact, and, well, income as well. Okay. And as Marianne said, what was the one that Marianne said? Lost it now. Feeling alive, feeling lit up, feeling on fire, all of those things. Okay, great metrics. So think about that. The next thing to look at is your current business model. Okay, now this is the part that you may need help with, and if anyone does need help with this, then I have a program called Business Diva that does this, that helps you to restructure your business model. But today I'm going to help you just to do a little inquiry around that. So what's not serving you in your business model right now? Are you doing too much of the tech yourself? Are you doing long sales calls? Are you doing a lot of sales calls that end up in you maybe getting a lot of no's, or I need to think about it? Are you having to chase people? Are you having to do lots of follow-up? Are you having to send out lots of cold messages? Are you currently writing a lot of content or producing a lot of content, whether it's written or video or whatever, just for the sake of writing a lot of content that maybe not even getting loads of feedback? We kind of want to look at, when you're looking at your business model, you kind of want to look at effort out versus what you get back. So in other words, how much are you putting out there? And the best way for you to get a sense of this more than anything, you don't really need to go and make spreadsheets and start to say, well, you know, there's all of this over here that I'm doing and there's only this coming back. If you just feel it, if you just feel like, well, I know that I'm doing loads of stuff and I get up every day and I do loads of stuff, and then I'm getting like one client every 3 months or something like that, and even at that, they're really hard to get and they're not great and they don't pay me too well or whatever, you know, they don't pay me when they're supposed to, then you're going to feel energetically drained. Amanda says it's too early to have champagne 7 coffee. It's never too early for champagne in my world. But I understand, that's fine. I did have champagne for breakfast yesterday morning, but then it was New Year's Eve. So, and I did mix it with orange juice. So just like, that's the simplest way that you can look at your business model right now and see if there's anything that's not serving you. If you need to get into the details of what is not serving you, that's something I can help you with in more detail if you want to reach out to me by PM, because I can literally do an inventory on your business. And this is quite a normal process that I do with people, where we look at what's working and what's not working. And then you're really just doing the things that do work, but also what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy, and what you might want to source to somebody else, outsource to somebody else. That's the word. And yeah, there's lots of different things you can do there. So have a little think about it. But more than anything today, what I would say about your business model is if it feels like you're putting more out than what you're getting back. then there's going to be something wrong with your business model and the structure of it. But there are many, many ways that you can restructure your business model. You don't have to scale. You don't have to create group courses. This is a whole topic on its own, which if anyone would like a video on this, I was going to do one last week, but I took the week off. But if anyone would like a video specifically on different business models and the types of models that you can have, the options, let me know. Send me a little comment below and let me know, and I'll do a separate video on that. Because there are many different ways that you can actually have your business model. But what we really want is a business model that honors your well-being more than anything. My business model honors my well-being for where my life is right now. I'm a single mom. I'm able to work 2 days a week. And I live in a place that's not very expensive, and I don't have a very high cost lifestyle. So, and I'm kind of a minimalist as well, and I'm not very materialistic. So there's all of that too. In saying that, I have enough money for everything that I want and more. So I'm not like scrimping and saving or anything like that. So we look at those kind of things for you. When we look at your business model, I want you to see if they are actually honoring your well-being, if they're providing you with what you need, without you having to do extra. It really should feel effortless. You came here to coach. You decided to start this business because you want to coach or teach yoga or heal people, not because you want to be a marketer, not because you want to do marketing, right? And every single person ever that I've spoken to that comes to me doesn't like doing marketing. And if you do like doing marketing, you're not really the right person for me to help. There are some people that love marketing, but this is for the person who doesn't love marketing. So most of the people I'm working with are quite sensitive, or pretty conscious, and we're just not really interested in sitting in front of a computer every day, and we don't feel good about it. So, selling and all of that kind of stuff. So there's lots of different areas of your business. There's your sales, there's your systems, there's your team, there's your lead generation, there's your content. These are the kind of main areas. Anything else I'm missing there? That's kind of it. So if you feel that any of those areas are not feeling good for you, we'll look at what we can do to outsource the bits that you don't need. Get rid of parts that you don't need completely, that are not even working, that are just draining your energy and draining your resources and draining your money and all of that. A lot of people are spending way too much money on their businesses too. And I've had people that spend money on their businesses before they're even making an income. If you're spending anything at all on your business before you're making an income, that's kind of crazy, because then you're just paying for it out of your pocket. Your business as a coach shouldn't actually really cost you anything. Very, very little to start with. So this is a very, very practical thing. So have a think about that. Just recognize for today if you feel that you're putting way more energy out than what you're getting back in your business. And if you are, that's a definite sign that your business model needs to be restructured. And if anything else comes to you around that, you can share later on in our group or here or wherever you want, or you can PM me, or if you're watching the replay, and you can put a comment in here. So also your marketing efforts and your sales process. Those are two things to look at too. Are you posting 3 times a day because that's what is done, right? Are you sitting in front of the computer or with a notebook and pen or whatever you're doing, trying to create content or trying to come up with ideas or creating new courses, or changing your prices all the time, or rewriting your website all the time? Are you fiddling around with things, fiddling around with things all the time, but then you're not actually like getting really clients, or you're not getting enough clients, or you're just doing way more of that than actually just servicing clients, okay? Just working with clients. Those are the kind of things, again, that if you're doing all of that stuff and you're not actually just being in your life and enjoying your business and coaching your clients and helping people, because that's your purpose, there's something amiss there. And it doesn't need to be like that. It really doesn't. As I say, I show up here, I'm basically coaching right now, I'm helping people right now. There's no agenda. If people want extra help, they can feel free to reach out to me. There's no I'm not going to say, oh, reach out to me and I'm going to sell you something. It's pretty much reach out to me and let's have a conversation. If I can help you more, I'll help you. And if it needs more, then we might need to get on a call. And if that needs more, we might need to work together because it could take longer. That's it, right? But there's no sales pitching, there's no selling. So I'm just sharing and serving, and then I'm working with my clients. And I only like to work one-on-one now, and that's all I do. And I only work with 4 or 5 people. So that's my business model. And everything else in the business is outsourced, systemized, the message is really, really clear and in place and dialed in. That takes a little bit of groundwork to do, but this business is 13 months old and I got it to this stage in a year, but it was a success from the start. I mean, it was earning me an income from the start, if you want to put that on it. And it also valued my well-being from the start. It fit in with my life, it gave me my desired income, and it gave me time to do what I needed to do. But it's still changed up a little bit since then even. So I used to work a 4-day week. I never work 4 days, by the way. That's the days I have my nanny, but I never actually work full days. But they're the days that I don't have my child, and they're what I would call my work days. Now I'm down to 2 days, and again, I don't work 2 days. I'll go to the beach at some point during that day. I'll spend time cooking. Some days I don't work at all. Some days are just a day to get ideas or just to whatever. And I usually get those ideas when I'm just doing other things in my life, my pleasures, okay? Sales processes too. If you're doing like the traditional way to do sales is have a phone call with somebody or a Zoom call with somebody, and it sometimes turns into 2 Zoom calls, and they can be very long, and there's all of that dealing with objections and all of that kind of stuff that can feel horrible at the end. And then very often we let people go, and then there's a million different ways to do sales. But if you are finding that your sales processes are taking your energy and then you're not really seeing the return from the sales, then there's something off there as well. So I don't do sales anymore at all, and there's other ways that you can do this that doesn't actually involve any sales, but you can still actually sell, and I call it serve to sell, okay? And so yeah, it's really quite easy and nice, and it feels good, and it means that there's no agenda. You just get up and you share, you serve every day, and that's all there is to this. So very often people say, well, you want to reach more people, so that means you need to get group courses. But I just reach more people through my free content, and then I serve 4 or 5 clients one-on-one, and that's it. And unfortunately I can't work with more people than that because I'm just not suited to the group model. I don't like groups. I'm an introvert. I don't like being part of groups, and I don't like facilitating in groups. I'm just not, it's not my area that I love. I don't enjoy it. Sometimes I do it, but right now it doesn't appeal to me. So again, these are the things to look at. Now, what I'd like you to see is if you do get any inspiration from this, if you do get any insights from this, the biggest difficulty when you're letting go of things can be, and especially for those of you who are very, very busy with your marketing and your sales and your tech, it can be that if you have clients, if you're already servicing clients, if you've already got a good income coming in, it can be that you really feel that the marketing and the sales that you're doing is the thing that is keeping your business together. Now, if you're also getting any little insight from our conversation here today that actually it's not that, then hold on to that thought. That's your wisdom, okay? And most people will actually need the help more from the mindset point of view of, because you're probably scared to let go of that stuff because it feels really like that's what's making things work, and that if you let it go, the bottom's going to fall out of your business, right? I do want you to know, and if you don't get this yet, and if you're not seeing this for yourself, lean on my faith here, but I want you to know firsthand, not just from me, but from other clients that I've helped, and that other coaches, friends of mine have helped other clients too, so it's not just me, that when we do let go of these things, it creates so much space, not just physically because you're not doing all that work, but mentally. Even just if you ever have just made a decision to let something go, as soon as you make the decision, you already feel the relief, and the space that creates is huge. I've got my little kids outside again, so I'm going to make faces back at them again. I'm being a little bit daring today and a little bit playful today. So he's still there. And he's got a palm tree in his hand. It's so cute. So that's really all I'm going to say about that first part. Now we're getting on to our pleasures, right? I know this might be really hard for many of you, but it might be easy as well. So I want you to dig deep here. I want you to just type into the comments here if you're watching live or the replay. If you can think of anything that is a pleasure in your life that either you're doing now, and you don't need to let me know right now if you're doing it right now or not, and it doesn't matter how personal it might be, we're all very open here, so it doesn't matter if that's, I've got women that are sex coaches, and I've got women that teach other women how to. I've got one woman who calls herself the blowjob queen. So this is a safe space for you to be. So whatever that might be, if you feel like sharing it here today, feel free to do that, because it might open the door for other women too. And I don't want you to feel that anything is not on the table here. But also, if it's just something like having a cup of coffee with your friends, or excuse me one moment. Okay. I can't talk right now, okay? Bye-bye. That is hilarious, like to actually get rid of your own child and then have other people's children knocking on your door, opening your door. So there you go. Anything can happen. Be authentically you. Show up messy AF with other people's kids knocking on your door, drinking champagne, and he's probably wondering what I'm doing. So this is all that matters, folks. It's not about being perfect. So let's look at your pleasures. It doesn't matter what they are, as I say, and they can change. So some of my pleasures are, as I said, singing is a huge pleasure of mine. Walking in nature. Being near the ocean is a huge pleasure of mine. If I can swim in the ocean, if it's not too cold, I'll swim in the ocean. Anything to be in nature, just breathing. I love doing yoga when I can, but I don't very often get to do it these days. I used to have a regular practice. And I want you to see something here, because all we're looking for in these pleasures is things that help you to feel present. That's all, okay? So I don't want you to think that because somebody says you should meditate, or you should do yoga, or you should run, or you should do whatever it is, and that's the thing that's going to be good for you. If it doesn't feel easy for you to do, if you can't just get up and do it because of your energy levels, don't do it. So wherever you are right now, and I don't mean right now in your life, I mean right now even in this moment, if you wake up tomorrow morning and you're so tired that you really just can't get on your yoga mat, and all you can do, and I've done this, is sit on the yoga mat and drink your coffee, and that gets you present, that's enough. That's all you need. Believe me, being present, which really then connects us to the divine, it doesn't take a lot. We think it takes loads. We think we all have to sit in our meditation pillows and meditate for hours on end and go and be at the ocean for all day long. And it feels like that because when we're in our heads, when we're busy in our heads, and really being busy really means about just being in our heads thinking a lot. When we're in our heads and we're not being present, from that state of mind, it can feel like we need a months-long holiday or 10,000 hours of meditating, okay? But in actual fact, the times where I've thought, I'm so tired I can't get out of bed, and I think I need a whole day in bed or I need a month in bed, I'll stay in bed for 15 minutes and then that's it, that's all I need, and then I get up and I'm perfect, okay? And I've got loads of energy. So I want you to see that it's doing whatever is a pleasure. So know what your pleasures are, first of all. And if you don't have a clue, look back at what you did when you were a child. Look back at what you did when you were a teenager and maybe see if those things are coming to you right now. If you still don't have the energy to do any of those pleasures, just do whatever you can, whatever comes to you in the moment. And if that's watching Netflix or if that's staying in bed, but do it without guilt. Because if you lie in bed and all you're thinking when you're lying in the bed is, oh God, the hubby's going to kill me or the kids need me or whatever it might be, then you're not going to be able to be present with lying in bed, right? So just do what comes to you in the moment. As your well-being improves, and in other words, as your level of consciousness raises and your vibration raises, you will get more energy and you will have more energy to do other things. But honor it moment by moment. And going with the flow is really, really helpful. That's why I love my business model too, that's part-time, because it really gives me that opportunity to go with the flow. So I can just literally get up and just see what I want to do each day, and that's it. I don't actually have to really plan a whole lot. So do what you can depending on your energy levels. Now also, and again, I have got a pleasure process that I take my divas through when I work with them, but I'll give you a little insight to that now and a little snippet of that right now, because also I want you to see that what do you get from the pleasures, right? So if you're somebody who really enjoys moving your body, for example, maybe dancing or maybe, I don't know, whatever it might be, if you're somebody who loves dancing, for example, okay? Maybe dancing is something that you did for years, but now that you've got kids, you can't do it. And then you're thinking, I really need to do dancing because if I don't do dancing, I can't connect to the divine or I can't be present, right? Because that's my pleasure. And I'm not going to be happy until I do my dancing. But then if you look throughout your life, you might see that there's other things that give you the same feeling. So I don't want you to be looking for what the thing is, because everything external can change. You know, I had almost a husband and a family a year ago, and I'm a single mom now, and you know that changed, and I couldn't be changing everything around in my business or changing everything around depending on whether I was a single mom or not a single mom or whatever it was, because things changed. Then COVID hit. Now my dad is sick. Things change externally all the time, and having to if we keep getting so affected by all the external things, of course we're not going to be able to show up and coach our clients or run our businesses. It's going to affect us. So one of the things I remember my coach saying over and over again, consistency is key, consistency is key. But I always thought consistency came from hustling. I always thought consistency was from effort or force. But nature chooses the path of least resistance every single time. And if we're present, then we're connected to that nature. And we can see it in the trees, we can see it in the plants and the flowers and the wind and the weather and the animals, that they just grow on their own. Life supports them. They don't need to do anything, right? They don't need to effort. And we're the only people or the only species on the planet that speed up when we're stressed and that force ourselves to do things and put loads and loads and loads of effort into everything. So you don't need to put that effort in, right? You just need to flow with it. You just need to allow life to support you. And if you can find the pleasure that in this moment suits you and suits your energy levels, that's all you need. And you don't need to do it all day long, and you don't need to do it for hours. And it can be as simple as sweeping the floor. I love sweeping the floor. I get great pleasure out of sweeping the floor. It keeps me really present. It can be listening to a talk. It can be listening to a podcast. It really does not matter what it is, and it can change. So look for the feeling you're getting from it, not from what is it that you're doing. Again, it's like the marketing in your business. It's like when we grab onto the marketing and think that's the thing that keeps our business going. It's not. The thing that makes us feel good is not the dancing or the yoga or the meditating. It's the feeling we get from that. And if you get that feeling from other things, then it kind of doesn't really matter what the pleasure is. It's just the fact that you're actually focusing more on being in pleasure and using pleasure as a way to connect to the divine and to be present. And from there, trust me, if you can focus on your pleasures and if you can be more present more of the time, your vibration changes, your consciousness raises, and you start to get divinely inspired ideas. And you can show up once a month on the internet and share those ideas, and you can be totally messy. Like my lights have gone down now at this stage. I'm losing the light outside, and who cares? There was a time where I would have been looking at this thinking, oh my God, I've got to have a diva ring in front of me because the lighting's off for my webinar or whatever. Who cares? Really? Is the diva ring and the lighting the thing that's going to help people? No. My message to you here, even if it goes blank here or dark, you'll still be able to hear me, right? My message to you today is what's important, and I'm sharing this message because I want to share it with you. Not because I want to sell you something, because I really, really want to help people who are listening here today, whether it's live or on the replay, to know that you don't need to do everything that you were doing. You don't need to effort. You don't need to make everything difficult for yourselves. Life can be really nice. Business can be really lovely. It can be very simple, and I have seen it so much. The less I do, the more success I have. And again, my measurements of success are personal to me. It's the amount of money I need to earn. It's the impact I have on people and how it changes their lives, and how it changes not just their lives, but the lives of their people that they're in touch with too, which I love. It's got a ripple effect. And my well-being. And the well-being of others, because I help people with their well-being as well, of course, right? It's a ripple effect again. So that's the point of these pleasures. So whatever those are, do an inquiry, Listen to what's coming to you today. Listen back, even if you've been here for the live workshop today, listen back to the replay. Listen back more than once if you want to, and see what comes to you. See if you get any ideas or inspiration, and that's the first steps. So your simple pleasure plan, your Diva Pleasure Plan for 2021. And by the way, I'm giving you all my 10 Diva principles as a gift for being here today. That's for any of you who have shown up either live or watching the replay. So if you can please type Diva principles into the comments below here, I will send you your Diva principles. And what that is it's the 10 Diva principles, the way that you can live like a diva, like I do, okay? And you can adopt the ways of a diva, and they're kind of a way to live by, almost like say yoga, the way to live by. It's a lifestyle. And most people are not divas, and I get that. I was going around forever telling people, just be a diva. But I realized that I'm just a diva naturally, so not everyone is. Most people aren't, in fact. So I will share those diva principles with you. If you just type into the comments, I will send you, and I've got this beautifully well presented PDF to share with you with those diva principles on it as a gift for being here today, and hopefully that will help you as well. And if you get a chance to print it off, I don't know if you've got a color printer or something, it's a really beautiful thing to hang on your wall and to look at each day. And even for people who are clients of mine, it's a little reminder to look at the diva principles again, to remember how to be a diva every day. So your Diva Pleasure Plan really is coming from two places now today, and this is what will set you up going forward. You're going to look at your current business model, see what's not serving you, see if you're, even if it's just, it could be that today you just feel like there's something not right, I'm putting out too much energy for what I'm getting back. Or it could be more than that. You might see other things deeper than that. You might start to see that there are certain things you're doing, like maybe you're sending emails and nobody ever responds. You don't necessarily have to stop sending emails, but if that's what's coming to you, see what comes to you from there, okay? Those are your first steps. Secondly, from there, focus on pleasure. Make pleasure the priority of every single day. Even if it's just watching Netflix, depending on what your energy levels are and what you enjoy to do day to day. Doesn't have to be the same thing every day. You'll start to see patterns though, of course, right? It can change. You might love sex, but you might not have a partner at the moment. So, you've got to be practical here. Circumstances change all the time. And so through doing this, it doesn't matter then whether you've got a partner. It doesn't matter if you're going through a divorce. It doesn't matter if your parents are dying. It doesn't matter, and God forbid that they are, and touch wood, I hope nobody is going through any of this. But it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic. It doesn't matter if you lose your job, if you have no money. And that might sound very easy for me to say, but believe me, I'm living and breathing this every single day. When you've got your well-being, when you've got your presence, and you're connected to the divine, you will have divinely inspired ideas. You will know what to do. You will trust yourself more than anyone else in your marketing and in your life, okay? In your business, in every part of it. You will be happier. You will be healthier. I haven't been sick. Well, I did get a kidney infection recently, but that was really a one-off. But I haven't been sick for nearly 2 years. And I was sick all the time before that. I mean, all the time. You'll feel better. You'll have better relationships. You'll just be happier. You'll be a nicer mom. You'll be a nicer wife or husband if you're a man watching this. You'll be a nicer coach. You'll be better at showing up. You'll be better at helping people. You'll just be a different person. Your light will come back, especially if your light has gone out. And no matter what's going on around you, that cannot go out if you are present and connected with the divine. And it doesn't need to be all the time. You're human, right? You're supposed to have thoughts. You're supposed to have insecure thoughts. It's like weather. We can't make it go away. And this is a big part when I do work with clients on a deeper level that I help them through. And that is that there are times when it feels bad. Like I felt bad today. And I didn't have to do today's webinar, but my wisdom was really, really telling me to do it. I just wanted to do it. I really wanted to do it. I knew that I should do this today. And I'm really glad that I did. And I do feel better. But I didn't have to do it. I had a choice. And if my wisdom hadn't have told me to do it, I could have stayed sitting in my own shit, as I call it, feeling horrible, in my sweats, with my dirty hair and my no makeup and my puffy face and my crying. And I'm okay with that. And that's the other thing to know, that you can be in the soup and be okay. The world can be falling down around you, and you are okay, even if you feel bad. That's well-being. And when you feel like that, from there, everything changes. From there, you bounce out of things more quickly. You can continue with your business. You don't need to go into a state of deep depression. If anybody here has ever suffered from anything like that, this is a saving grace for anybody who is a person who's, prone to depression, or gets into bouts of really disconnecting from their business and not showing up in their business for very, very long periods of time, or having that on-off kind of thing where I hate my business, I want to get out of it in a minute. This is something that will help you. No other marketing plan, business plan, 7-step formula, 3-step whatever, none of those things are the thing that's going to make your business work for you, because everything else can change on the outside, and they're all dependent on things changing. But when things are changing, we've seen so much change in the last year, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more of it ahead of us. This is one thing that never changes. The one constant that you have is the vibration of love or life force. And the way to get to that is through being present. And one way that you can do that is through your pleasures. So thank you very much for joining me here, everybody. It's been lovely to see you all. The light's gone now when I'm finished. And I'm going to go and finish my champagne. And I wish you all a beautiful 2021. Thanks again for being here with me. And feel free, if anything has come up for you here in this workshop and you want some help, just PM me. I don't bite. I don't try to sell to you. I genuinely am there to help you. And that's what we'll do. And if you want to share this with anybody, it's here public to share. So you can share it with your Facebook friends or whoever you want to. Have a lovely new year. Happy 2021. All the best. Take care. Wishing you love and joy and happiness and well-being.